On behalf of the board, I want to welcome everyone. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Let the record reflect that today is December 13th, 2021. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. The time is now 7 p.m. I call this meeting to order and declare a quorum is present. This evening, Ms. Diasas will lead us in the pledges of allegiance, and Mr. Richter will lead us in the invocation.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for being with us as we go through our trials and tribulations. We're grateful for your blessings upon us in our daily lives. We pray for strength and healing of this nation. We ask your blessings upon all of us as we prepare to celebrate the birthday of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Help us to be mindful of the fact that Jesus is the reason for the season. As we come to the close of this year, we thank you for looking beyond our faults and supplying our everyday needs. In the precious name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Diasas. Mr. Richter. There's more seats up here if anybody wants to sit down. Thank you, ma'am. Alrighty, our first item on the agenda is public testimony. I do have a list of people that have signed up. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to sign up? Everybody sign up they wanted to? All right, the first person that signed up is Mr. Quincy Cooper. Mr. Cooper, before you start, if you'll let me just read a small disclaimer. And then when you start your public comments, if you'll state your name and your address. Okay. Pursuant to Board Policy BED, the board will allow every person who wishes to address the board on an agenda item to do so before the board's consideration of that item. Regarding public comments or complaints for an item that is not, that is not posted on the agenda, the board is not authorized to discuss or act on any public comment that is not posted with notice of this meeting. Public comments is a time for the board to stop, look, and listen to your comments. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. We ask that speakers refrain from comments about any district employee or district student without proper due process. Okay?
Okay. Hello. My name is Quincy Cooper. I live at 605 West Matlock here in Aransas Pass, Texas. Tonight my comment is about some racist tweets Mr. Gary Smith made via Twitter last summer, which included derogatory remarks about the WNBA. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and double talk. First of all, due to this topic is not on the agenda for tonight, and the board doesn't have to give us any answers. Second of all, I want to go on record by saying that I've already talked with Coach Taylor, Mrs. Hale, Mrs. Cook, and Board President Victor Galvan about this situation. Now, each and every one of them know exactly how I feel and how I expect the district to handle this situation. Thank you.
Thank you for comments. The next person that has signed up is Holly Gross. And if you'll state your name and address.
Holly Gross, 2649 Henrietta Place in Ingleside, Texas. I'm an alumni of Aransas Pass, and my issue is also too about tweets. The main one that concerns me as far as students and stuff is that 100% of African Americans commit crimes. So if something was to come up in the locker room missing, and I have a niece that plays, is she going to be pinpointed that she did this? And then the thing of I can breathe because I obey the law. There are several people, African Americans, that were killed that obeyed the law, and they're no longer breathing. And if this is somebody that people look up to, they may need to reconsider because this doesn't sit well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gross. The next person who signed up is Mr. James Hayward.
My name is James Hayward. I live at 426 North Whitney Street here in Aransas Pass. And I also is an Aransas Pass alumni. Guys, I'm coming to y'all before tonight because I have concerns about our basketball coach. Because not only does he lead young women, he talked bad about these women. And I have a daughter, an African-American daughter, that just like Ms. Gross said a moment ago, if there's anything that comes up in that locker room missing, 100% of the time when a crime is committed, they're the ones that have committed that crime. So if anything comes up missing or something's wrong, who do you think that I feel that he will look at? My daughter. And if any of y'all know my daughter, she want her to fly. So I have concerns that this man has had my daughter in his program for the last going on 3 years. And I'm not going to sit up here saying that I've known Gary since elementary. And to read these tweets, it hurt me to the core because this is somebody that I grew up with. He was my quarterback in high school. He teaches my daughter, he coaches my daughter. And for me to read something that he put out there in social media for the whole world to read, as a father, it hurts. Like I told my daughter, when God blessed me to have her and my son, he wants me to protect my children from people like that. Like I told my daughter, don't you look at him any kind of other way. You treat him with respect. You show him respect. But as an alumni, I feel that y'all guys should do what's right for the district.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gary Smith.
My name is Gary Smith. I'm at 2373 Morgan Lane, Ingleside, Texas, 78362. All I am here tonight for is to address the allegations being made against me. First, I understand that there is a fine line between political ideals and views, which are a right to have by everyone, and it's straight up prejudices or biases. I know some of my posts on political views may have offended some, but not others as well. But I know I have never verbally attacked another individual based on their ethnicity or anything else. In my 26 years at APISD, I have never been reprimanded and had documentation presented to me dealing with such accusations involving students, athletes, or teachers. Also, I know as a fact that the disgruntled parent, James Hayward, is the one leading the accusations, as well as getting the two other speakers up here as well to speak. This all stems from me telling him no in regards to some individualized treatment he was seeking for himself. For the second, everyone in some way or another has a prejudice or a bias. This is what forms our opinions. If you say you don't, you're not truthful with yourself, nor are you truthful with others. I do not condone some of the tweets that I made, but there was not in one of those tweets was I attacking an individual based on that respects. They were based only on news, things that I maybe had copied and pasted, but it was never anything that I said directly. Yes, I do understand the ramifications of those. I do know there's that fine line. But there's also a right in which we have the ability to speak our minds. And I am in no way, shape, or form anyone that holds anything against anyone else. I love those girls to death. I would not be here for 26 years if I didn't love those kids. And if this is something that the board acts on, and you decide that in your one way or another you feel like this is something that I should be dismissed for whatever reason, then maybe I don't want to work here anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Ms. Stephanie Belvin.
My name is Stephanie Belvin. I live at 535 South 11th Street in Aransas Pass, Texas. I have been friends with Coach Smith and his family since I was 6 years old, a long time. Recently, with the death of his wife, we have spent a lot of time together, a lot of time in the time that she was sick. And I mean, when you can spend time with someone that's at the worst of their worst, you get to see their character. And I've gone with him countless times to visit children in the hospital from APISD if they've gotten hurt. It doesn't matter race, gender, does not matter to him. He works hard for the students. He goes over and above what a coach would do. Me and him worked tournaments all summer, so that way when the girls went to the tournament this past time, he could take them somewhere nice to eat all day long. I mean, for a team that is mostly Mexican and black, I trust him with my children 100%. He can coach them anytime. He can teach them anytime. That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Frank, is it Guzman?
Hello, my name's Frank Guzman. My address is 2313 County Road 1838 here in Aransas Pass. I'm an alumni, have kids graduated here, grandkids. We went through this last time. You know, after last summer, after all this stuff happened, I don't know what took place, and I've seen some of the tweets. We do have the constitutional right to speak our mind, but on the other hand, you know, you're coaching girls basketball, but you're speaking out against a profession that you're coaching for, you know, and my problem with it is that why would you want to coach girls basketball if you see no future for them girls in the basketball? I would have liked to heard an apology instead of being on the offensive from Coach Smith, but that's nor here or there. We have a right to speak our mind. I grew up in this town. I know what it's like to grow up in this school. I know what it's like to be bullied. I know what it's like to be oppressed. James is family to me, you know, not only because his cousin is my son-in-law, but also because we're Christian brothers. So my heart goes out to him, but when you speak out against somebody, you know, you put stuff on social media, that stuff stays there forever. The problem is always been and always will be wicked hearts. They talked about that at our community prayer. The pastor said, the problem isn't the people, it's their wicked hearts. And when you speak out like that, you can't take that stuff back. You can apologize and move on, but it's there, and especially on social media. Everybody looks at it. If you post something on social media, you young kids, if you post something on social media, it's there. It's not going to go away. So that's a big problem, and maybe a public apology from Coach Smith would go a long way instead of being on the offensive. I mean, I'm just trying to rectify the situation. I love James. I love the girls' basketball. I support the team. I love going to all the events that I can. And I just hate that we let the enemy in here to cause division in our community again and again and again. So that's all I got to say on it. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ryan Reagan.
Some paperwork I'd like to present to you guys. That's the one we're gonna be talking about right now, though, first. My name is Ryan Reagan. I live at 2665 West Highland in Aransas Pass, Texas. Over the last few months, I've gotten 3 minutes of time to speak once a month, and I've said a lot of things. One thing I haven't done is lied to you. There's a saying, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. It's very important. One time I told you, last time I was here, I told you that Bree went 8 weeks without having books in her classroom. And when y'all questioned the administrator about it, she said that board meeting was the first she'd heard about it. And that's a lie. When a teacher resigns from this district, all of their emails are deleted. All their Google Classrooms deleted. Every existence of that teacher being in this district is deleted. It's gone. Can't get it back. So whenever a teacher leaves, if there is something like this in an email account, it's gone. But the teachers now, they don't trust this administration. Every email I know that Bree gets and some other teachers get, it goes to a private account. So whenever they leave, IT can't go into the private account, can't go get that email. So in situations like this, and the situation I'm going to tell you about in a minute, they can't deny it. It's there. Where normally, they've been able to say it never happened. Now, this right here were Bree's requests for books that we're told never happened because they thought the emails were gone. August 11th, she requested books the first time and was told they couldn't do anything until September 1st. Bree said, that's fine, I'll make something happen for 3 weeks, and we'll go from there. Next set of emails you see here, those are from 2020. The reason those are from 2020 is because Bree, after August, it looks like September 21st, Bree had to give all of these emails to the person who was trying to get the books, which is Tammy, sent everything from 2020 to her and said, hey, this is exactly what you need to do. Can you please get me some books? Tammy, goes around. That's what that empty email is there. That's everything forwarded. I'm sorry that it's on a second page over. A lot going on there. And then Tammy and Bree go back and forth a little bit. And then we get to page number 4, I think it is, and you start seeing Miss Cook's name come up on this stuff. You start seeing emails from her saying she's trying to get books, and nobody gets books. Never happens. So I'm going to tell you this too. We go to the last page over there where her resignation is going to Miss Cook and Miss Hale. If you look at where Bree's email came from there, that's because her email from the school was already deleted. She hadn't even resigned yet. There's a reason for that. It's because of stuff like this. The other part of it, we got a harassing phone call on Friday because they don't know what's going on. But they don't know that these emails exist. They don't know that these text messages exist. They don't know that these invoices exist. And they want to make stuff up and come after us and harass us. This right here is going to take a lot more than 3 minutes to present. I would appreciate an executive session, a private executive session, to be able to present all of this and to be able to present what happened on Friday and Monday, because this right here was more wrong than the one you've got in front of you. But she lied to you. And if she's going to lie about that, what else is she lying about? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reagan. On behalf of the board, I want to thank everyone who has signed up and spoke to us. And we appreciate your time and your comments. Again, I did read the disclaimer about being able to speak to these items. We are restricted by the Open Meetings Act because these items are not listed on the agenda. We would be in violation and could be written up by the Attorney General. So to let you know, we have listened. Okay. The next item is Agenda 3, District Recognitions. Panthers and Employees of the Month for December 2021. Ms. Cook?
As for our practice since COVID began, we have a video to show you who those recipients are.
Okay. Awesome. I know a lot of their supervisors are in attendance. Please tell them thank you for working hard for us and for our students for being such great students. Let them know that we congratulate them on being recognized. Agenda item number 4, the superintendent reports. We have a construction update, enrollment and attendance and COVID report, the first reading of TASB initiated policy update 118. We're going to set a date for the superintendent's evaluation and review of board goals and a calendar of upcoming events. Ms. Cook, I'll turn it over to you.
First, we'll start with the construction update, and Mr. Todd Brindlin's here to give us the punch list items and a few other, a little more information, answer any of your questions.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm going to present the outstanding punch list, exterior punch list items that we have, and there's about 15 items on this list. We added a couple of them today, but I can run through them real quick. About 10 of them are complete. The ones that are not complete there's a couple of plates that are missing in the parking lot, which they're on order. There's a downspout that ran into, damaged. That's been it's pending delivery. We had the backstop net it was real windy when they're putting it up and it got torn, so they're going to replace that net behind. It's patched right now, but it's going to take a little while to get that replaced, but it is being replaced. Some of the bleacher seats sat for a while. I mean, not the seats, but the boards, the aluminum, and they got discolored. The contractor got a chemical to clean those, and they tested it today, and it came out good. So I think they're going to be able to clean those and make them look bright, new aluminum again. And that's pretty much it. One of the items that are going to have to be addressed is on the baseball field. The field is, unless you're on the field and know what you're looking at, it's a little bit askewed. So it's about 1.5 feet off. Somehow it got off during, whether it was the stake got moved when they were putting it in, or we don't know exactly what happened, but Weaver and Jacobs are aware of it, and Multichem is aware of it. They're going to take care of it in the summer after the season, and it's just shifting it over about 1.5 feet, the home plate. So you probably won't notice it when it looks great. It went out there today, but it is something that has to be addressed, and both companies they didn't have enough time to address it before because of all the rain, but it will get addressed at the end of the season.
How will they fix that, Todd?
Pardon me?
How will they fix that?
Well, they have the foul pole line is 5 inches off. So
Left field?
I think it's off to the left 5 inches off. So that may have thrown off the home plate, but Multichem put it in perfectly 90 degrees. So it's and they're going to verify that with their own surveying crew. But it is a UIL playable field. There's really nothing wrong with it other than it's skewed a little bit, and it's like 1.5 feet off. So that's going to get addressed. Both companies are going to come back, write letters. They're going to take care of it.
Are they
So
going to have to tear up any of the field?
they're going to cut. They're going to have to cut a little of the. It's going to shift a little bit over. So they may be able to leave the pitching mound alone, but they may have to shift the bases a little bit. But so when they're all finished, you won't know it ever happened. So
So we're going to have to change the pitching mound. Second base going to have to be moved over.
they're going to survey and look and see. It's a small percentage, so it may shift it a little bit, but it's still going to be resurveyed once they're done. But
So what's the time frame from them doing that after the season? We're not going to affect this season.
no, they thought they might try to do it before the season, but it didn't work out time-wise. So they're gonna address it in the summer. As soon as season's over, probably take them a couple weeks to do it. He was out there today. I talked to him, and he said it's not a big deal. The biggest deal is moving that foul pole 5 inches.
Well,
But
I understand it may not be a big deal to him.
Yeah.
But we've got a multi-million-dollar facility that we're breaking ground on.
right.
What
Yeah.
I'm hearing you, it's going to be fixed, but I'm not hearing exactly what all they have to do, other than they're going to do it and how it's going to affect the field that we have.
Well, they're gonna have to, I guess, they're gonna have to relay it out, and if there's grass, they might have to cut and shift over a little bit. They're gonna have to do that. Put in some red dirt.
It's going to be all on their nickel.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they anticipate a couple weeks to do all that?
I'm guessing, I mean, right now, that's what they're thinking.
Okay. So have we covered ourselves in writing to make sure that everybody's clear of what the expectation is?
Not at this time, no.
Yeah, I mean, we can get it in, I mean, we've got emails back and forth, but we can get it in writing.
I think we need something formally to protect the school district, and there's
Yeah.
no questions when we actually get to that point of what we're doing and who's responsible for doing what and what our expectation is. Does the board have any questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
meanwhile, you said that it is UIL compliant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But if your home plate is off, you said about 1.5 feet,
Yes,
that has to align dead center with second base,
right,
center post.
it does.
So that's gonna throw the pitching mound off. Because the pitching mound has to be dead center between second base and home plate.
It is.
So it's gonna throw the pitching mound off, it's also gonna throw our pitchers off.
The whole field is skewed 1.5 feet. In other words, it's all equally shifted 1.5 feet. It's not just it's not just home plate or pitchers. It's all what happened was there was one stake out there that was supposed to be home plate. Somehow either the stake got moved. We don't know what happened, but Multichem based their whole field layout off that home plate. So it's perfectly 90 degrees. All the bases line up. It's skewed, like, I don't know what, 1 or 2%. So that's all it is.
So when you say the whole thing is skewed, are you talking about the vantage point, let's say, from home plate? That you would see it like this and it's all the bases? everything
It
is
could
moved
barely
over?
tell, you can barely tell, yes, ma'am. If you're standing in the center aisle of the bleachers, you can see that the home plate's shifted over a little bit. Yeah,
But it's the whole field?
the whole field.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just one piece, it's the whole thing.
Will we withhold a portion of final payment as assurance to guarantee that the work is completed?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
Will
you.
we withhold a portion of final payment to guarantee?
We don't pay the final payment until everything's complete.
So the final
or
payment won't
in this
clear
case,
until
it might
December.
be a written agreement, because if it's going to be next year, we have to go through the season and then do it after, but we don't pay completely until we have the punch list complete.
Any other questions? Okay. Was there anything else, Todd?
Softball field's perfect.
Positive note.
Well, no, and I think just in fairness to the process and the contractors, they told us a date and a time frame, and with the weather that we've had, we've minimized the disruption, and we've been able to hit all our timelines, and I think the facility looks awesome.
Yeah.
For the most part, other than this little glitch, but we'll work through it.
Yes, sir. We'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
The next superintendent report is the enrollment and attendance and COVID-19 report. Ms. Cook?
At the end of the second 6 weeks in your report, you see that our attendance rate is coming back up. Average was 93% for the district. Our goal is always to be at 95%, but after suffering through the first semester of being in the 80 percentile, we are glad to see it going back up. And as you see, it's going into the final semester, 6 weeks of this semester, it continues to go up. Our enrollment at the end of the second 6 weeks was at 1681. End of last week, we had gone back down to 1677. We kind of fluctuate here and there, especially as you move towards the end of the semester. Some may be moving and so forth, but after we return, we look for more students to arrive. So things are looking good there. We've been averaging pretty much, as far as COVID, 1 student per week, sometimes no students for a week, so it's very minimal. We're looking forward to the days where it's 0 always, but it's we still monitor, we watch, we clean, and we try to do everything we can to keep everything as safe as possible. But we're back to as close to normal as I guess we can be under the circumstances.
Just a reminder, what was the budget built on?
1,700.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the enrollment report? The next report is, I guess it's the COVID report, is that correct?
No, I did the COVID report. The next was the TASB policies. This is the first read, so you have quite a few policies here as we still coming out of that legislative session. They'll keep rolling them out. So these are for the first read, so we'll act upon those next month.
Okay.
The next one is the superintendent's formal evaluation and review of board goals to set a date. In your packet, you have the board goals that were created back last summer. We never got a chance to come back around and really solidify some of the dates. So the dates basically are some that you talked about at that first time. So we'd like to have a workshop during which we look at those goals, determine if those dates are the timelines you're wanting, or what those timelines look like. There are some facility pieces in the board goals, so I think it would be imperative for us to look at facilities as a whole in light of that for our next step for growth, and then along with that, the evaluation. So you have the instrument, you have those goals, so we need to set a date. Later in the agenda, I will be asking for us to move the regular board meeting to January 24th. So that might help you look at the calendar to see perhaps doing something prior to that. We moved it to the 24th due to us coming back from the holidays later and just trying to make sure it would be very difficult. We come back on the 5th. To have our regular board meeting on the 10th would be next to impossible to get you the documents and everything ready for you. The 17th is a holiday, so it pushed us all the way to the 24th. So I don't know if you want to stay with the Monday. We could potentially do the 10th for the workshop because there's not as much to prepare for that. That's more of us coming together, having discussions, or whatever date works for all of you.
So normally what we've done is we've tried to stay away from doing the superintendent evaluation in conjunction with the meeting. We try to handle that as a separate piece where we can dedicate our time just to doing the evaluation, so we can continue to do that way and have just the evaluation and then come back for a workshop on the goals, or at the board's pleasure we can schedule that simultaneously and not have to come back on 2 different nights. I don't foresee going through the goals. We've already done that with the consultant. So the goals are set. It's pretty much just sitting down and talking about the actual target dates. We're not talking about that many on here, so I don't foresee that requiring that much more time than our evaluation. My preference would be to do it all in one night and not have to come 2 nights. But that's at y'all's discretion. Does anybody have any other preferences?
I'll go along with that myself.
Okay.
Yeah, and
One's
since,
better
since
than two.
evaluation
It'd be
and
better.
performance is gonna be kind of
Yeah.
related together anyhow, that they kind of link them together, so.
So what we're looking at in January, if we're gonna meet on the 24th, they come back on the 5th, so we have the week of the 10th and the week of the 17th. 17th is a holiday, so that would block that Monday out. I don't know if you guys prefer a Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday format, or a Monday. It's up to anybody. Does anybody have any dates that are not available?
Any day is fine with me.
I'll propose that we do it the week of the 10th on Wednesday, the 12th. And I know everybody's working different time frames. Are you still getting out at 6 or 7, Mr. Flores? Mr. Flores?
You know.
What time do you,
Time to get
what time do you get out?
5:30.
5:30, so we could do it at 6:30 on the 12th? Does that work?
Yeah, that'll work.
And then that way, that'll give us another week in between, before our meeting on the 24th. So if you'll make sure to send reminders out to everyone, that'll give us a date.
And I'll also send you in an email some of the updated things from the past year. So as you look at the evaluation instrument, I normally give that the night I give you the instrument, but with everything else we've been having
What day that
going
fall?
on, that I didn't get that to you.
Right,
So
so just to,
Off would be on a Wednesday.
just to clarify, I know we have some new trustees. We do the evaluation every January. So this is, in your package is the APISD Superintendent Evaluation Instrument for 2021. So what we'll do is, if you can fill this out before the meeting, if you have any questions on it, you can call Ms. Cook, you can call myself, we can walk you through it. We try to have them all filled out individually, and then we'll meet collectively as a team. And then whatever the consensus is of the team for that one rating category will be the rating, based on the consensus of everyone. And then we'll do the whole instrument together. If you can have that filled out when you get here. The next item is the calendar of upcoming events.
there is a lot going on there, so we tried to, and I'm sure we didn't put everything, but some of the key things. I just want to point out, of course, we have some great family nights at AC Blunt. We have the Whoville. That family night is tomorrow night, 5 to 6:30. Whoville at Charlie Marshall's Thursday, 5:30 to 7:30. Great family events and for our community. Our holiday open house is 9 to 3 here Thursday, where our staff and our invited guests come, and we'd like for you to stop by and enjoy the great food that our cafeteria staff prepares for us. And you see a lot of the decorating has begun, and door contests that I told them I have a blizzard because it's just a white door, so that's my contribution to this. We have just a reminder that the students, their last day is Friday. We changed the calendar so we could have staff planning and looking at strategies for second semester. So staff will still come next Monday and Tuesday, and then we'll all be out for our break. As we said, students don't come back until the 10th. The teachers come back on the 5th. And then you kind of see some things going into January and February. So hard to believe, but half our school year is just about over.
Yes, ma'am. Does anybody have any questions?
That governance camp is for us?
Yes, that, and Blaze did put in some of the opportunities you have for training and so forth. So if you're interested in any of those, we will reach out to Blaze and she'll help you prepare for that. Also, if you're concerned about some of your hours, making sure you get in your hours before May, I would reach out to Blaze. She can talk you through that. That might be the best. So we had it last month, but we were unable to discuss that. But it might be better for you just to individually talk with her to make sure that you're getting your hours before May. There's a lot of different ways to do that, and she can help you with that.
The next item is agenda number 5, the financial reports. Included in your board's package are the accounts payable, the budget status and investment report, the tax collection report, the bond finance report, and the FEMA projects. Does anybody have any questions on those projects or those reports? If there are no questions, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Item 6 is to consider and approve the minutes of the November 8th, 2021 regular board meeting. They were in your board package. Does anybody have any corrections to the minutes? If there are no corrections, do I have a motion to approve the
Hold on a
minutes?
second. I think there was just a
Yes, you had,
very minor typo.
Okay.
When I pull up the minutes, it's page 3 of 4. The first full paragraph regarding the budget amendment,
Mm-hmm.
it says budget meant amendment.
yeah, it's misspelled, so.
So just to correct that typo.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes with the correction?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Diaz and a second by Mr. Mullinack. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's approved. Agenda item 7 is the action agenda. We have several items listed here. The first one is to consider and approve the healthcare plan for the 2022-23 school year. And I know Ms. Cook sent a lot of information in the package about the legislative update.
Tried to wow you with information.
I'll let you give us a quick summary real
Well,
quick.
the summary of that basically is that our, we came to you a year ago where we used our District of Innovation so that we could go out and do something that hasn't been done before, because normally educators can only have TRS active care as their medical health plan. So we had an opportunity where many districts found a loophole to be able to provide an opportunity, and we did pursue that. We found a company that was able to give us better rates so we could take better care of our employees, and so you approved that. But of course, many school districts started doing that, and TRS did not like that. They have lobbyists and they have lots of pull. So legislators this last session closed that loophole up. And so now there is no way to have TRS active care and another provider so that employees can have choice. That's what we were trying to provide for our employees. We still carry TRS active care. And we also then had what do we have now? Cigna. So that we had about 70% of our employees that were chose to go with Cigna and pull away from TRS, and the other 30% stayed with TRS. So as this began to unfold, and we saw that the legislation basically was saying that you cannot be with TRS and another health care program, you have to, and if you decide to pull out of TRS beginning in 22-23, you cannot go back for 5 years. And you need to make the decision by December 31st of this year, the end of this month. So they basically have pushed us all very quickly without time to find a lot of information. We don't even have TRS's premiums, and no other companies putting their premiums out yet. So you kind of have to make a decision based off of limited information. There are, what we were told in one of those slides, there's like only 25 of the 1,200 school districts that had, at the time of those slides, had said they were going to pull out of TRS. So the majority are looking at staying with TRS. A lot of that is the same reason that our proposal is to stay, is because when you take, and Pam's in the back in case I mess this up, so I may not say this correct at all because I know enough to be dangerous with all the wording, but basically a small district like us going out on our own with a company, if we have claims that occur within our district, it's harder to absorb that. So this year we did have a rough year, a rough first semester, and some unfortunate illnesses. And so that is going to cause our, staying with this company will skyrocket our premiums because of that. And that's just part of that, the insurance game, you might say. Being with TRS, it's larger, more people, so it can absorb and be felt, taken up some of the, absorb some of the pain, you might say. Our own insurance agent, he said that he recommended we do not leave TRS. He was unable to give us what our premiums would be, but that was, the indication was it was not going to be good. So with that said, it's very unfortunate because we wanted to be able to continue to give options to our employees, but we don't have that option any longer. You either go with TRS or you go with another company. We're being guided to for this next year to stay with TRS. We're hopeful that because so many of us did pull out before, TRS maybe heard us and that truly are trying to work to bring better prices for our employees. Time will tell if that occurs. We did send this information out to our employees because I wanted them to know and have a chance to share their concerns and thoughts before this board meeting. I did have 2 that emailed me just asking questions, and then Pam had a representative from a group of teachers that called and she answered their questions. So I think it's unfortunate, but as educators, we know that usually some of those good things don't last forever. We've kind of been in education for 33 years. I've seen that, you know, you feel like you get ahead as an educator and the state's going to take care of you, and then it's sometimes pulled back. So I hate that for our staff because it's not right, but we don't really have anything else, any other way to move forward. I think the best way to protect them and provide the best insurance for them would be to stay with TRS. So we're bringing that to you tonight for discussion and just for you to act upon. It didn't necessarily need an action, but since you approved us to go with the other company, I felt it only right that you approve that we stay with TRS. And the last piece of that is we will continue to be looking for other options, and if we can find one by this time next year that's better for our employees, and we feel comfortable and safe to do so, we would bring back to you that option. But we want to be very careful because if we do go that route, it's a 5-year commitment. So that's kind of a lot in a little nutshell. So any questions that hopefully I can answer?
Well, if we went that route, could we get locked in for a rate for 5 years?
No.
You can't, they won't do that.
No, they'll evaluate it each year.
Each year?
Based on your claims.
But also each year, we have the option to leave.
Yes. You
Okay,
can
if we
still
find something
leave
else.
TRS, but you can't, if you leave, once we leave TRS, you can't go back for 5 years. But each year, we still have the option to keep looking and see if we find something that we feel's better.
It just sounds like, though, this is not the year to do that, given that we have higher claims that you
Yes.
reported. And being with TRS, it's a bigger pool, so.
Yes.
Is it all or nothing? Like the district has to do it and me as an individual couldn't choose to go the other route?
No, well,
And
you as an
be locked
individual,
out
if
of
you have a
TRS for 5
spouse or someone that you want to go and take their insurance, but you as an employee having an option as an employee,
It has to be
there's,
district-wide.
yes.
So the 70% that went to Cigna, they come back without penalty to TRS?
Well, you want to speak to that? Great question. Pam knows the answer.
Yes, that is correct. It's not going to cause them any problems to go back to TRS.
Okay, so if somebody's in the middle of some type of treatment,
Procedure.
they're going to have that continuity of care.
It's just going to carry over
It's
to
just going to be a different provider, a different
Absolutely.
administrator. Okay.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one question that I just came up with just now. We were just talking about we could change next year, but in this, what districts need to know about leaving or joining, under the what is SB 1444, it says, however, districts must commit to remaining either in or out of the program for 5 years after making a change. So will we be locked in for 5 years once we approve
We have
this?
been told that
Right.
you can make the decision at any time, but you will not be able to get back in it for 5 years once we make that decision.
Okay.
So you're reading it, you're interpreting it that it's saying in or out for
I
5
did,
years?
Says
I did
remaining
see
either
that,
in or out.
but we've
Yeah.
been told.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because further down it does say, what do we do if we need to leave, and it gives an option, so I was just curious,
Right,
because it
I
kind
did
of.
see that. I know.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any comments? So the recommendation is to stay with TRS Active Care only. Do I have a motion for APISD to only offer TRS Active Care?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Diasas and a second by Mr. Rector. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next item is to consider and approve initiated local policy changes affecting policies DC employment practices and FDA admissions intra-district transfers. We did discuss this at the last board meeting and what the rationale was. This is not a TASB-initiated request. This is a local request. Does anybody have any questions on those two policies?
Just a comment, I think the revision is improved from last time, so thank you.
If there are no questions, do I have a motion to approve the district-initiated local policies?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Mullinack. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Rector. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next item is to consider and approve the renewal membership in Wash Gallegos Retainer Program. This is a standard item that we do every year with Wash Gallegos. Do we have any, we're recommending, administration's recommending
Yes, we
continue?
are. And I did have a question in the document. It doesn't have the current board members, but what happens is if you approve this, then we, Blaze sends with this document the new board members and your contact information. So that's why it's not reflective yet, because you haven't approved it. So that was because when you questioned about that. So,
Okay, thank you.
but yes, I'd say yes.
The memorial, was,
You skip something, see?
you skipped in the electronic portion.
Okay, I'll go back.
Just to-
Thank you. I've skipped another one. I do that every meeting, so thank you, Ms. Diasas.
See if they're paying attention.
Right. Okay. So does anybody have any questions on the renewal membership with Wash Gallegos? If there are no questions, I have a motion to approve the renewal of the membership with Wash Gallegos Retainer Program.
So move.
I have a motion by Ms. Diasas and a second by Ms. Hill.
Good job.
The last time, but I got it right. Okay, motion is approved. Going back to C is to consider approve the plaque for Little Bob's Spear at the sports complex. They did include in your package a photocopy of the ones that we have at the complex for the tennis courts for Mr. Hill, and I believe the athletic field house for Mr. Shirley.
Yes.
Okay, let me back up, John. I have a motion to approve the renewal of the membership with Wash Gallegos. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hill. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion's approved. Thank you, buddy. Taking care of me there. Okay, now we'll go back to consider approve the plaque for Little Bob's Spear. Does anybody have any questions on using that type of plaque for the new facility?
And we just gave a draft example of what could be stated on it. I appreciate Cheryl and Blaze going back and looking back at the history. The wording, when it talks about on April 6, 1982, so on, that is exactly the wording from the minutes from the meeting in which this was determined, because it says, name the Aransas Pass High School baseball field the Little Bob Spear Memorial Stadium in memory of Little Bob Spear. Well, of course, now we have an athletic complex, so that's the point of this plaque, is to put that there, that information, so that everybody knows that at this time, that's what the decision was. But as far as naming it all that now, that was not the point. This is just to give the history of the name. But it can be reworded any way you wish. That was just a example.
Have we visited with the family to see what their wish is on that?
Did you get to speak to her? Okay. Yeah, Cheryl was going to try to reach out to her, but was unable. I have spoken to them about we were doing this, but as far as them seeing what we've written, That did not happen because we were unable to contact her.
I mean,
So just for clarification, this designation was already there before we started the sports complex on the
Correct.
old field?
correct.
Yes.
Okay.
We're just continuing it.
I would like to suggest that instead of calling it a stadium, that we just say it's and add the word baseball, so that it's a memorial baseball field, not a stadium. I think it might be confusing to folks to think that that's the name of this stadium,
Right.
meaning the football stadium.
Well, and I think like I said, that was just the wording from the minutes, but you can change that for that clarification.
No, I think that's a good point. And
See stadium, it says.
Where are you
Little
seeing
Bob
stadium
Spear
on these?
Memorial Field in honor of Robert H. Little Bob Spear. In the description I'm reading,
Oh, I think it's in the,
I don't see.
The
stadium.
very last on April 6,
Recommend it.
1982,
On the very, very
the
bottom.
very last one.
the last paragraph.
You got it right in there.
Oh, y'all are looking. Okay.
So you'd like to see that say the Little Bob
up in the middle.
Spear
Okay.
Memorial
Baseball.
Baseball,
So it's specified.
okay. Baseball field or just baseball?
Baseball
Baseball
field.
field.
Baseball
stadium,
field,
baseball field
okay. So we could
'Cause the
change,
stadium has another.
yeah, we could
Yeah.
change that.
for roll.
Baseball complex. Go with baseball complex.
So you want baseball complex or baseball field? Because it was
Well,
the
if you
field.
do complex, I think you kind of give the meaning that it includes
the
like the
girls.
whole thing and the girls too. If you
Yeah.
say
And there wasn't
complex.
girls in 1982 that played.
Yeah.
No.
Girls a lot
Girls
later.
didn't play in
I think
1982.
field is
Organized.
specific to that specific field.
Right.
Yeah. Are we okay with field?
So you like everything else except that we'll change where it says baseball field, the Little Bob Spear baseball field in memory of, because it basically says it twice. I guess we need to think, so to name the Aransas Pass High School baseball field, the Little Bob Spear baseball field. Is that what you're wanting to say?
Yeah. That's the attachment. When you go to the description as the item, action item, it's worded a little bit better when I was reading initially in your word book. That's kind of put that paragraph at the bottom of that attachment. I think it reads easier.
It does read a little easier. Little Bob Spear Memorial Field.
That first line does read a little bit better, Ms. Cook.
I'm sorry?
It says in 1982, the Aransas Pass High School baseball field was named the Little Bob Spear Memorial Field in honor of Robert H. Little Bob. So that's, I mean, we can just clean the verbiage up where we don't have duplication, that'd be fine.
Okay,
That's the description of the agenda item, the first
okay.
sentence
Do
there.
you know what they're saying? Because I can't see the description, so I'm like kind of blind at what you're saying, what you're seeing.
I still think we should have the word baseball in the name of the field.
It says
Memorial Baseball
Yes,
Field.
they will.
Okay.
Okay.
Will you send that out right
I
before?
will. I started to say, when we get this all together, I'll send it out in an email, let you look at it and make sure it's what we've discussed. Because we'd like to get this ordered and then we'll be talking about our grand opening of the athletic complex and have all of that out there, so.
So we don't need any action there, we're good.
Yes.
Okay. The next item is consider and approve the MOU between APISD and Coastal Bend College, Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, Texas A&M University Kingsville, RE the college preparatory courses in ELA and math.
For the
Okay.
record, before discussion, I'm going to remove myself due to perception of work conflict.
Okay.
And these are normal MOUs that we bring each year for your consideration as we work in partnership with these.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the MOU? If there are no questions, a motion to approve the MOU between APISD, Coastal Bend College, Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi, and Texas A&M University, Kingsville.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Diosas. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hill. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Item F is to consider approve of MOU between APISD and Delmar College District, RE, the college preparatory courses in ELA and math.
Same, I'm sorry, yes,
Okay.
same type of MOU.
Anybody have any questions? A motion to consider and approve the MOU between APISD and Delmar College District, RE college preparatory courses in ELA and math.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Rector. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Flores. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion is approved. Item G is to consider and approve an MOU between Nueces County Juvenile Board and the Aransas Pass ISD for Nueces County JJAEP. So just for, are you still recusing yourself?
No.
Okay.
How many spots do we have?
So we have 2 seats with JJAEP.
Yeah.
And
So-
this is basically, they sent us an email that we had as the cover letter, because it kind of confused us when we got it, but they basically, in reviewing their documents, they're being audited, and they saw that they needed this document to be updated and extended for those years, so.
So for our new board members, we have our DAEP placement program here in district, but if anything is more severe in punishment that rises to JJEP placement, there's a consortium of school districts that purchase seats.
It's one
Nueces
seat, I'm
County.
sorry.
It's one
After I
seat
said 2, I was thinking it's just one seat.
with
yes.
Nueces County that guarantees us if we have to make a placement, that seat's sitting there for us. So this is just a yearly deal and ensures that we have a place available for us to send someone. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the MOU? If there are no questions, a motion to approve the MOU between Nueces County Juvenile Board and Aransas Pass ISD for Nueces County JJAEP.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Mullinack. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Diosas. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's approved. Item G is to consider and approve rescheduling the regular board meeting to January the 24th, 2022. And I think Ms. Cook spoke to that earlier
Yes.
about needing to do that with returning back after the break. Does anybody have any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the rescheduling of the January board meeting to January 24th, 2022?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Butler, a second by Mr. Rector. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion's approved. Item I is to consider and approve rescheduling the March regular board meeting to March 28th.
And this is due to spring break, how spring break falls. And we have a later spring break. I think spring break is actually on the week we would have had board meeting. And then it gives us a week to come back and prepare the documents, so then that's why it's so late.
Does anybody have any questions? Do I have a motion to approve rescheduling the March regular board meeting to March 28th? I have a motion by Ms. Diosas. I have a second. Ms. Butler. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next agenda item is discussion for topics for future meetings. Does anybody have anything they would like to add?
I don't know if we need it as part of the agenda, but the Student Advisory Council that we kind of terminated whenever COVID hit, and I'm not sure, now we're kind of getting back to a little normalcy into campuses. Do we want to start that back up again? Or?
Is there any reason why we wouldn't start that back up?
No,
Okay.
sir.
It'd be a good time with the second semester.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have the campuses appointed people to that?
No, we've not addressed that at all this year due to that we had not started, so I can talk with the team and we'll work on that.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Let the record reflect that the time is now 8:04. The board will convene an executive session as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, concerning any and all purposes permitted by the act, 551.074 to discuss board officer roles and personnel. Section 551.071, consultation with the board's attorney. And section 551.089, deliberation regarding security devices. Let the record reflect the time is now 11:25. The board is reconvened in open session. The items requiring action from closed session are: number one, do I have a motion to approve the resignations as presented by administration?
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Mullinack. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Rector. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's approved. Do I have a motion to approve the new hire as recommended by administration?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Mullinack. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hill. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. I'm going to take this in a little different order, so just give me some flexibility here. We are going to reorganize the board here in a minute. In our effort to remain transparent, and with regards to the personnel matter that was discussed tonight, I would like to state APISD does not comment on personnel matters or actions taken. However, as has already been disclosed by administration, an investigation has been conducted and we have consulted with our school attorney. On behalf of the board, I would like to state that we take these complaints seriously. This is a private personnel matter and is being addressed appropriately. At this time, the board will not make any additional comments regarding this matter. The next item is the reorganization of the board. I will accept nominations for president, and I nominate John Mullinax for president. Are there any other nominations? There's no other nominations. Do I have a second for Mr. Mullinax as president?
Second.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Rector. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved. Congratulations.
Okay, now, I'm going to open up the nominations to fill my position as vice president. Do I hear a motion on the floor for a nomination to become vice president?
I nominate David Rector.
I hear Dave Rector. Do I hear any
Second.
other recommendations or nominations? Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor of Mr. Rector being vice president, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Mr. Rector is now vice president. With no other business to come before the board. With no other board business to discuss tonight, I now adjourn this meeting.
Ms. Cook,